Hi there and welcome back. If you happen upon the other video on this channel, you're probably aware that I'm a big fan of the Immaculate Grid, which is like Sudoku for baseball nerds. Having played a little bit more than a week's worth of grids, I had this thought, which I think would be interesting. What would it be like to play a Mr. Burns variation of the game? If the Mr. Burns reference is a little unclear, I'm referring to the miserly owner of the Springfield nuclear power plant in The Simpsons. Now, if you're also a fan of The Simpsons, you may remember the 1992 episode Homer at the Bat, in which Mr. Burns is hell-bent on winning the town softball league. And he plans to do this by hiring ringers consisting of baseball stars from his youth, players with the likes of Honus Wagner, Cap Anson, and Mordecai Three Finger Brown. But as Mr. Burns' assistant Smithers astutely points out, one flaw in the plan is, they're all dead, sir. While the Burns scenario won't or did not work for the 1992 Springfield Softball League, it could theoretically work for the Immaculate Grid. So today, one of the things I'm going to try to do is fill out as many of the squares as possible consisting of players who retired before my time. And like most of you, my baseball knowledge comes from players that I've actually seen play, making it highly unlikely that I'll complete the full Burns, completing the grid only with players who played before my time. So I'm going to treat the Burns variation less as a rule, but more as an option for some added style points, if you will. So with that said, let's see how we do. And here's today's grid. It's July 8th for those of you keeping track. And just looking at this right off the bat, one could say that this grid for me is impossible to complete with the Burn scenario, since to date myself, the Toronto Blue Jays can be said to be a team that was founded within my time, even though there are years in their early history that I clearly do not remember. But in any case, there's some possibilities here with some teams that extend way before my time, probably to the beginning of the major leagues. So we can probably go back to the Philadelphia A's. That's probably going to be a safe one. Now, hey, we may even get a player from Mr. Burns this time, although I think those players date back to like the teens and earlier, so probably not. One pitcher that I seem to think pitched for the A's back in their Philadelphia days was Eddie Plank, right? So that's going to be my guess. I think Lefty Grove was also a Philadelphia A. In the teens. So let's see if Eddie Plank is correct. Okay, Eddie Plank, 1 for 1. And that, we could even say that is a true Burns, as he played within the careers of a player like Honus Wagner. Speaking of Honus Wagner, one would be tempted to put Honus Wagner in the MVP slot. And then that would be not just a true Burns, but kind of like an on-the-money Burns, actually on Mr. Burns' team. However, I did look this up, and the MVP award started in 1931, just based upon kind of like the top Google result. So if that's accurate, obviously Honus Wagner cannot have won the MVP because it wouldn't have been a thing back when he was playing. They did have a player, a great slugger, I believe named Ralph Kiner. He hit over 50 home runs in his best year. So I'm going to hope that Kiner may have won the MVP during one of his prolific home run years. Oh no, that was not correct. I may have a hard time racking my brain for a player. Well, Roberto Clemente. Oh, that's a sad one. There it is, Roberto Clemente. Okay. Well, I've missed one, so it is impossible for me to fill out the grid perfectly. The best I could do is 8 out of 9 in this instance, but them's are the breaks. Toronto Blue Jay with more than 20 wins. So, a name that comes to mind is Jack Morris. I feel like Clemens probably had over 20 wins. I believe David Cohn pitched for them at some point. I'm going to go with Dave Stewart, but I would use that as the A's Blue Jays cross if that was the possibility. Oh no, he did not win over 20 games with the Blue Jays. Dang it. Okay, 20 season MVP, 20 plus. So this is something that I should definitely be able to fill out using the Burns principle. See how that goes? Walter Johnson, there you go. And of course there's, dozens of people we could put in there, I imagine. Okay, there's one other that I could fill pretty easily, I'm pretty sure. Well, so San Francisco MVP, Willie Mays. That's a pretty obvious answer. I should just go with that. But I'm pretty sure that Willie McCovey won an MVP. Oh, look at that. McCovey played until 1980. He doesn't fill the criteria. Okay, so I can't do Willie McCovey. I'm going to play it safe. We'll go with Willie Mays. All right. Select. There. Willie Mays doesn't have a picture? Oh, man. That is surprising. Maybe they're all under copyright. I don't know. But in any case, Willie Mays is a correct answer. I seem to remember that Roy Halladay had a season where he was just unbeatable. That's my memory anyways. We'll see if that's true. There we go, Roy Halladay. In fact, that's probably the top guess, 66%. A lot of other people remember that too. So at this point, I am also going to say uncle to the Burns variation. If I really thought long and hard about this, I probably could fill in at least one of these two squares, but yeah, not going to do it. So one player that I know for sure is Dave Parker, the Cobra. I remember him more from his time with the A's, but he was probably at his peak when he was playing for the Pirates in the 70s. So we'll do that there. Dave Parker. Okay. So, okay, I have one guess left. I really want to guess Rance Mulliniks as, somebody for the Blue Jays column. I really want to fill in the grid with that particular player. He was a third baseman for Toronto in the 80s. If you don't remember that, and if you don't remember it, I don't know that he had a great career. He just had, the weirdest name. I shouldn't say the weirdest name. He just had one of the more memorable names. So my A's Giants pick was going to be Vida Blue. He had the distinction, I believe, of being one of the only players to win the Cy Young in both the AL and the NL. I believe he was the first. But let's go ahead and take a flyer on Rance Mulliniks. Let's see if I could get lucky here. Rance. Oh, I thought it was an X. Okay, Rance Mulliniks. All right. So let's select. Nope. Not there. Well, that's not a big surprise. I could Google Rance Mulliniks' career to see what other teams he played for, but I want it to be a surprise when it comes up, so I'm not going to do that. And one of these days, Rance Mulliniks will fill out a square, and I will be pleasantly surprised. But in any case, so I was about average today. And let's see. Oh, Barry Zito. Yep, that makes sense as the top pick there. But I'm pretty pleased with my performance, getting a full burn scenario for the MVPs, and I believe 2 out of 3 on the 20+ seasons. So that's today's puzzle. If you feel so inclined to use the Burns variation in your play, have at it. Hope you have as much fun as I did. All right. Well, that's it for today. All right. Have a good day, everybody.